שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. זמרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים לפאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם, חדש ימינו כקדם. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה.
Shabbat Shalom. Rosh Hashanah, our Jewish New Year, is only a few weeks away. It is celebrated on the 1st of Tishrei, and we're almost halfway through the month of Elul, our time of spiritual preparation for the days of awe. Tonight begins the 13th day of Elul, and this being Shabbat, it's a special opportunity to reflect on the holiness we have within. As Rabbi Simon Jacobson explains, the essence of each one of us is good and holy because it is a part of God. The challenge is to recognize this holy part of ourselves which resides deep on the inside and allow it to shine on the outside. Even when we recognize our own inner glow, it's hard to actualize it because we live in a world that doesn't always respect goodness and holiness, but instead defers to success and power. We sometimes find ourselves neglecting goodness and holiness as we pursue more superficial treasures. So this Shabbat, as we commit anew to recognizing our own goodness and the goodness of others, let us also offer prayers of compassion and hope for the people of Afghanistan struggling to stay safe, to maintain basic rights, to hold on to their freedom, for the people of Haiti, ravaged by political upheaval and natural disaster once again. May our government do what is right to help these innocent people in need. May the world not ignore their struggles and their plight. Let us remember the sacred value of each of their lives, the goodness that they have, and welcome Shabbat, knowing that while these 24 hours are meant to be a taste of the world to come, our world remains a very imperfect place indeed. On this Shabbat, let us commit anew to recognizing our own goodness, the goodness of others, and its potential. Let the light of our Shabbos candles kindle a sense of compassion in us all. So we're going to begin our service on page 11 in our special gold-colored Elul Sidurim. If you're with us online, right below the live stream, there is a special tab for this prayer book. You click that link, and then you have to scroll down to the 4th prayer book. It's gold. It says Mishkan Halev. So, Sharon Teish, I invite you on up to offer a reading before we light our Shabbos candles.
I honor the gift of stillness and rest, a day devoted to peace, peace within my soul. On this day, I have everything I need, peace with those around me. On this day, I seek no quarrel or strife, peace of earth and sky, green trees, and quiet water. I give thanks that I am present in this world. I celebrate the miracle of existence, the breath within me, the beating of my heart, the love that blesses my life.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Shabbat.
Please join me in Kiddush on page 12. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'avo v'ratzon yinchilanu, zikaron le'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim. We turn to page 15 in our Siddur as we welcome Shabbat with song from Psalm 98, Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor.
Yael page 18 for Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. L'agid b'boker chastecha, emunatcha b'alelot. L'agid b'boker chastecha, emunatcha b'alelot. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon.
We turn to page 22 as we make ready to welcome the Sabbath bride, singing Lecha Dodi. When we get to our last verse, Bo'vi v'Shalom, we rise together as a congregation, turning to face the entrance of our sanctuary and welcoming that Sabbath spirit to join us, beckoned by our song and spirit. And if you're with us on live stream, of course, your space is sacred too, a mikdash ma'at, a little sanctuary made holy by your presence and song and spirit too. So sing with us.
Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmianu, El meyuchad Adonai echad, Shemo echad, Shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nechakim ekor, ha'veracha merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Itoreri, itoreri, ki v'orech, kumi ori, 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 shir daveri, kivod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Bo'vi v'Shalom teret balagan b'simcha, u'v'tzolat emune an segula. Bo'vi chala, bo'vi chala. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likakala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Turn to those who are around you, near and far, Give them a little wave. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know that you're glad they're here with you, with all of us together. We turn now to page 24 for the Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through the Shema.
Yitkara v'yitkara Shemei Rabba, Amen. V'amad yivrach retev yamlich mochotev, v'chayechon uvyom echon, uvchayirecho beit Yisrael. Bakala, uvizman kariv, v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba mevorach, le'olam olam me'amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitoma v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitala Shemei Kodesha, b'richu, leila min kol birchata, v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'ama, v'yimeru, Amen. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai.
We continue together on the bottom of 28. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk, as your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycles of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living, eternal God, be our sovereign to the end of time. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. On page 30, together. Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. For you are blessed, the one who loves your people, Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. Please join me on page 34 with V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך, בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת.
On page 41, Crossing the Sea. Eternal, watch over my small domain of light and shadow, those few people who share my love, and all others upon this earth, that sometimes shakes with thunder and reverberates with lightning. Help us to live with fear and conquer rage. Heal the hate that makes us kill and covers the ground with this Red Sea, that only you can part, so we may all walk through the wilderness to your realm of peace, where all men and women are one, and sing your blessed name. On page 40, don't turn the page, Mi Chamocha. Starting on page 42, we have the opportunity to offer prayers for peace, not only for peace in the world, but internal peace, a sense of calm and connectedness, a sense of balance. So I invite you to take 2 minutes, 3 if you want, to make your way through the next few pages of the prayer book, either the Hebrew that's on page 42 or the gray pages that have beautiful poems and readings and meditations. Pick a couple, find ones that speak to you, and think about how you can find some peace. We lie down in darkness. This day, with its burdens, passes away. Raise us up to the light of a new day. Change us with the season. Give us rest and renewal. Make us eager for the dawn. On page 46, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם מרית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise for the tefillah on page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imateinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo V'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, U'Mido Melech, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, B'nei Natal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yhalalucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, HaKadosh.
You may be seated. The intermediary blessings of the Amidah are different for Shabbat than they are during the week. We don't ask for specific things as much as we pray for to receive peace and rest and goodness during Shabbat. And whereas the other pages were gray, these are blue, these special readings picked for us based on some of the Psalms that traditionally we read during the month of Elul. So we'll share a few right now, and we're going to begin on the top of page 57 with Kavanah from the Elul Psalms. Join with me. A year of your goodness, your crowning gift. Your paths grow lush with oil, drop by drop. Pastures for grazing thrive in the wilderness, and the hills are encircled with joy. Flocks of sheep clothe spacious fields, and the valleys wear garments of grain. Filled to bursting, they shout, they praise, an exultant song of delight. On page 59. O my gray end of summer orchard, all your leaves and olives, all your silver green and dust on everything, like a gift of shechin, innocence. Hot day after day, I rub up against you and take away heaps of dust and fruit and silence, but the gift stays with you. I grow tired, my face is smeared with doubt, with summer. Orchard, let me stay here in the shechin night and drink the secret of rest and faith. I won't disturb your waking sleep, pure end of summer dust. Cover me like a miracle, like dew, like the gift of shechin, innocence, over the trees. On the bottom of page 61, we read together. God breathed into us a living soul, the gifts of respiration, inspiration, aspiration. May we sanctify this day by breathing deeply, attentive to all gifts. We taste the sweetness of the world that could be. And we share together on page 66, our Hoda'ah, our prayer of thanksgiving. God who is ours, God of all generations, to you we are forever grateful. Rock and protector of our lives, your saving power endures from age to age. We thank you and tell the tale of your praise, your power in our lives, your caring for our souls, the constant miracle of your kindness. Morning, noon, and night, we call you goodness, for your compassion never ends. We call you mercy, for your love has no limit. We call you hope, now and for all time. Page 68. For all these things, O God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised, our gratitude a daily offering until the end of time. And may all life resound with gratitude and faith in praise of your name. God, you free us and strengthen us. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We join in our prayer for peace on the top of page 71, finishing with another kavanah from the Elul Psalms. Join with me. I say, not now, my God, not in the middle of the journey. Do not carry me off. Your years outlast all generations. In some distant past, you laid the earth's foundation. Heaven itself is the work of your hands. They will not vanish, but you endure. Your years never end. The children of those who serve you, may they live in peace, and their children who live in your presence, may they endure. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. You, Adonai, are the blessed one who blesses us with peace. Praying for peace in the world, peace in our lives, we extend those prayers to those who are in need of healing, healing of body, mind, and spirit. We think of those who are in our lives, those who we hold in our hearts, who are in need of healing, and we join our prayers for them along with the prayers for those who are listed in our order of service. We're going to share not our regular, but hopefully a familiar prayer for healing, and you can find that in the order of service, which hopefully you scanned on the QR code on your way in. Otherwise, you can do a very un-Shabbos-like thing and take out your phone and find that link again, or because this is a call and response prayer, we can just listen to the cantor and follow along.
Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our faith.
Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds. Clarify our minds. Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our light.
Rejuvenate our lives.
Please take a moment for silent prayer. Oseh shalom, shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Oseh shalom, shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru
this Shabbat, we are reintroducing a monthly series that we took a hiatus from last year, Worship Works, where once a month we dive a little deeper into the liturgy of our prayer book to understand why it is we say the prayers that we say or what they mean. And tonight, not only because the high holidays are so close, are so almost upon us, and also because the learning theme for our year, which we'll be unveiling shortly, is renewing our days, renewing ourselves. Tonight we're going to look at a line of our Torah service, even though we're not going to have a Torah service tonight, that is a core prayer in our High Holy Days, as well as part of our Shabbos services every week, to understand where it comes from, why it's at the end of our Torah service, and how it helps us prepare for Teshuvah, our return during the holy days. So thank you to the Berlins for handing out sheets. And in just a moment, we will start. Good? Awesome. Okay. So we have the English above the Hebrew, but the Hebrew, Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva chadesh yamenu kakedem. Return to us, Adonai, and we will renew our days of old. So we have many, many versions of this melody. Probably the one you know most famously from the high holidays is, I could ask the cantor to sing. You want to do the round? Go for it. You're right there.
Hashivenu, Hashivenu.
Beautiful. Thank you. And what's the one that we normally do on a Saturday morning or a Friday night? Sorry. We're returning the Torah to the Ark.
Oh. Well, it usually comes after Eitz Chaim.
It comes after Eitz Chaim. All right, never mind.
I gotta get into it.
And then there's also another melody that Cantor does during the high holidays, which is very beautiful as well.
Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva. Yeah.
That's the key line. Thank you. I didn't ask her to do that ahead of time, so that was completely on the spot, so thank you, Cantor. So hopefully the words sound familiar to you, and what you may not have realized when you hear them on the High Holy Days over and over again is that they're also part of our Torah service, which we listen to as we return Torah to the Ark. So what we're going to do is look at a few commentaries to help us understand, like I said, where it comes from and why it is at the end of the Torah service, but also why it's such an important piece of liturgy for the High Holy Days. So let's start by talking about where it comes from. And Corey, I'm going to ask you to read the Mark Brettler, who is a biblical professor.
Return to us. The next to last verse of Lamentations 5:20, in which context it expresses hope for restoration and ultimately return from exile and the reconstruction of the temple. This wish serves as a fitting conclusion here as well. Additionally, the use of this verse here connects the return of the Torah to the Ark to the return of Israel to its God and to its restored land. This suggests that the ritual action of returning the Torah might help bring about a spiritual return and anticipated restoration.
Thank you. I forgot to say that if you're with us online and you go to the worship tab on the website, this text sheet is right there. It's also at the bottom of the order of service. So, okay, sorry about that. All right, so we understand then, first of all, that this line comes from Lamentations. We'll talk a little bit about what the Lamentations are later, but lamenting is not a happy thing. We'll just start there, okay? But so it's why would we be referencing such a despondent piece of the Hebrew Bible, of the Tanakh, when we're putting the Torah away? Well, Brettler's pointing out that there's this idea, this hope of return, and the physical returning of the Torah into the Ark is a way to bring uplift even, no matter what is going on. Okay, so Ellen Frankel, she plays that out a little more, I think. She's actually she's the head of the Jewish Publication Society, I think, JPS. Or at least she was when she wrote this. Okay, Phil, will you read the Ellen Frankel for us?
Renew our days of old. At the beginning of the Torah service, we acknowledge the paradox of Jewish space, that God reigns everywhere, but especially in one particular place, and that the Jewish people lives everywhere, but one particular place home. Here we affirm the paradox of Jewish time, that we look always to the future, but the way there lies through our past. Chadish Yameinu Kekerem. Renew our days as of old. We both pledge, as we return the Torah to its hiding place, that we will return to its life-giving ways of old.
So I love how Frankel points out this paradox, right? That God is everywhere, but so often we go to a specific place to feel God's presence. And we all know that Jewish people, or the Jewish people, can be found anywhere in the world, and yet when we pray, our hearts, our minds, our souls are pointed towards Jerusalem. So whatever our physical home is, there is a spiritual home that connects us all. And then finally, this idea that obviously we're always looking towards the future, to a better future. We always are praying for that world to come. And yet, this text and our way of looking at the world is to know that the truth, the way towards that better future is to understand our past, and also to look at the lessons, the wisdom that we have from our ancestors as well. So this paradox of returning not really to where we came from, but to a better, more pure version of ourselves, or a better, more idealized Israel of Jerusalem, is a wonderful metaphor, not just only for Torah and the people and the history of Israel, but of that high holiday idea of teshuvah, of return, right? So, vinashuva, teshuvah, you hear it? Shuva, right? They're the same word, just a different version of the same word. So this idea of returning is one that we think about for the holidays as well. So Sharon Teish, will you read the Harold Schulweis for us? No. Kendra will give you a sheet because she's got one right there.
Oh, will you read it if you have a sheet?
Okay. This is a subdued art in formulating prayers of repentance, because good and evil, sin and mitzvah are intermingled. One cannot pray for good as if goodness could be granted whole. A separate, distinct package. When the sages sought to pray, the powers of the Yetzerat, such as ambition, drive, and creativity, be granted, be stripped, or their darker side, a voice from heaven inform them. They do not grant halves in heaven.
You can skip the Aramaic,
Okay.
it's fine. Okay.
The counsel flows from Judaism, reality, principle. The wisdom of prayer and of penance accepts the complexity and the ambiguity of all the power and urges the penitent out of love to squeeze the sparks of goodness out of the husks of evil.
Right, so Schulweis is pointing out that there's never going to be a total return. There's never going to be some complete teshuvah where you're going to be perfect, where everything's going to be perfect, that in the universe there is nothing that is wholly good. It's just not the way it goes. I love that Talmudic Aramaic thing. They do not grant halves in heaven. You can't have good and not bad. You can't have light and not dark. They have to come. You can't have love and not loss. You can't have joy and not suffering. They have to go together. And that brings us back to our Hashivenu, this idea that we have to move forward, but only if we're able to look back. If we don't look back, we don't know where we're going, right? There's these contradictions that actually meld together that are the essence of Judaism, and the way that we can understand that when we're reaching for teshuvah, it's not with the hope of being perfect, but it's with the expectation that we can find ways to be better. Simon Jacobson, he pulls it all together. Who's gonna read for me? I'm in your corridor over there. Mina, will you read? Would you be willing to read? Yeah. I can see you behind your mask. It's good.
Repentance means regretting a wrongful act, resolving not to repeat it, asking forgiveness, making demands. Return means coming back to one's soul, one's divine essence, to one's source in God. The first level is only the means to achieve the second. Teshuvah, which literally means return, implies that there is a part of us that is always healthy and good and pure. And no matter what damage has been done to us in life, to our sense of self, to our personal dignity, no matter what damage we ourselves have done, we can always return to the soul that remains undamaged, intact, pure.
Thank you. Which is why this Lamentations text is so powerful. Lamentations, I don't know if you've ever read all 5 chapters. I can't say that I have. But their tone is bleak. God never speaks once in all 5 chapters. Suffering is overwhelming. Expectations for redemption are minimal. I don't know, it kind of feels like that's where we are right now in the world a little, but we're going to get past it and yet, there's still hope. There's still an appeal to God's mercy at the end. And by putting it at the end, not only of Lamentations, but also at the end of the Torah service, the rabbis transform its bleakness and highlight the hope. And that's really what the holidays are about transforming where we are to be better people for the world to come. When we take out our Torah from the ark and we read our holy text that's supposed to inspire us to be those better people, and then we wrap it back up and put it safely in the ark to keep it safe until the next time we take it out, we don't only talk about returning it to its safe place, but it reminds us that within that ark, make a metaphor, within our own heart is a space for redemption and hope no matter what. So during the holy days, when you hear these words in the very many melodies that we will enjoy it, and every Shabbos when we take out the Torah and return the Torah to the ark and you hear these words, think about the fact that they come from a place of great sorrow with the intention of finding and reclaiming hope. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue now with our concluding part of our service. Aleinu is on page 78. Please rise. And just a reminder that this high holiday prayer book, pre-high holiday prayer book, has the more traditional version of Aleinu, which is not the one we typically do, but we do during the month of Elul.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשני כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני
You may be seated. As we prepare to share in the words of Kaddish, we note with sadness the death of Danielle Christine Howard, sister of Desiree Purvis. I'll share a pre-Kaddish meditation from our regular Shabbos prayer book, not in our special Elul book. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbos candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. On this Shabbat, we consecrate the yahrzeits observed of Edwin Aronson, Rochelle Francis Gittleson Alexander, Cecil Ehrenstein, Anthony Arriaga, Max Belden, Max Belsky, Norman Bells, Jeanette Ackerman Burler, Lena Brown, Beryl Cantil, Beatrice Chapa, Dorothy Doe Coben, Irene Wilson Cohen, Esther Cohen, Melvin David Cohen, Stanley M. Cornell, William DePere, Sheila Farnett, Jack Forbes, Ralph Frapart, Major General Catherine Frost, Charlotte Garson, Regina Gernsbacher, Alicia K. Glosserman, Marco Gonzalez, Peggy Gordon, Judy Guggenheim, Bertha Hale, Charlotte Harris, Lewis Harris, Dorothy Jenko, Sidney Kempler, Ray Kinover, Harris Koch, Kalman Lowe, Edward Markey, Rabbi Samuel Marks, Joseph S. Middleman, Stella Pearl, Evelyn Poland, Laura Richmond, Dr. Lewis Richmond, Dorothy Ruse, Robert Rosenthal, Pearl Sandfield, Sadie Frost Schmidt, Eleanor Seelig, Morton Sheffs, Israel Silber, Ronald Scholar, Faye Stein, Gunther Strelke, Rosa Tobin, Stanford Wiener, Morton Morty Whitkin, Alice J. Wolf, Adriana Garza Zimmerman. To their memories, we link the names of 6 who in the last 30 days Shloshim have been laid to their eternal rest: Susan Setters Jacobson, Lawrence Rosenberg, Ann Callahan Dick, Robert Bob Burns, Sharon Forspan, and Myrna Klein. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing, along with the memories of those who we hold in our hearts each and every day. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we rise together in one congregation, turning to page 86 as we share in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'yizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha baruchu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yamru amen. You may be seated. On page 89, we conclude our service with a special shofar service for the month of Elul. The shofar is sounded from the first day of Elul until the eve of Rosh Hashanah to signal the approaching days of awe. The sound of the shofar implores us to engage in cheshbon hanefesh, an accounting of the soul. Amid shouts of joy to the sound of shofar, the Holy One ascends. On page 90, we share in Kavanah number 2. Breath of life, we share with all the creatures of earth, pass through the horn of this animal with the hope that we can transcend the animal within us. We share in the blessing for hearing shofar on page 91. Join me. Baruch atah Adonai shomea teruah. Blessed are you, Adonai, who hears the sound of the shofar. I invite you to rise to hear the sound of the shofar. Let's see how it goes.
Tekiah, Shvarim Truah, Tekiah.
That
Yasher
was a little
koach.
funky, but thank you.
It was special.
It was special. Excellent. Our closing song is...
It is We Return / Hashivenu, also on our order of service, also an echoing song, so join in. We return,
We return,
we return,
we return,
we return, return again. We return,
we return,
we return,
we return,
we return, return again and again to love, to love, to love, to love. We return again to love. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh yameinu kekedem. Yalalai lai la lai, yalalai lai la lai, yalalai lai la lai. Yalalai lai la lai, 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 yalalai la lai. Yalalai lai la lai, yalalai lai la lai, yalalai lai la lai. We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again. We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again and again to you, to you, to you, to you. We return again to you. Shabbat Shalom.